Good morning, everybody. We're evolving here, so I turned on the overhead lights. I really don't like them that much, but I noticed in the last video the camera was having problems focusing. I feel like Ricky Bobby right now. What should I do with my hands? Anyway, the really good thing, and I suggest you should all do this for your practice if you're one of the students of Light and Hand Academy, or just do any sort of movements and want to get feedback. In yesterday's videos, I saw that, wow, my arms were not very parallel, especially that first time I turned sideways. And I was like, wow, that's good to see. So I'm really happy that I recorded myself doing that. I haven't done that form and video in a very long time. So it's nice to have the measure of where you are versus where you can go to. So, and I have videos of me sparring from 2010 that back then I had thought that I looked really good, and then I saw some videos and I was like, oh my gosh, I look so bad at it. But whether you look good or you look bad in your own opinion, the measure is, does this stuff work? And whether or not it you don't really have to answer to anybody when you're doing your own personal practice. So today I wanted to go over loosening up shoulders and kind of helping elongate the soft tissue in your forearms as well. Because in this style, it's really important to be loose, and it's really hard to just jump into a form and expect everything to be relaxed, especially when you're early on in training. And it's really important to kind of prime the muscles so that they do relax first. And so one of the first things you can kind of do to kind of start prepping the upper body, this whole area around, is just your basic runner stretch here. You really want to start stretching this area back here. You can also do the eagle pose here, and it will really show you where you're tight. But once again, you can just come over here. So bring this towards you, give yourself a nice stretch. And you can do it for like 3 slow breaths, or 30 seconds, whatever feels right, because you'll feel it loosen up. For me, one of my biggest obstacles is my right shoulder. When I was in high school, I used to do a lot of skateboarding, so I always fell on that. So I didn't do the responsible thing and go through, take care of my body. So it healed a little bit wonky, and years later, it's one of my biggest obstacles in this style of Wing Chun, because it's almost like I have my yin side, and that's pretty natural because I'm right-handed and there's not as much muscle and strength, so I can actually do the soft power stuff, more relaxed power, easier than I can with my right, because I'm fighting a bunch of tension and muscle tone. So here. So even if you don't do martial arts and you're just watching this video, just do this stuff. One of the best things I've ever done for my body is practice yoga. And I'm not somebody who has a daily practice, and I find a lot of benefit though. I've done a few different styles of yoga, but my favorite seems to be the yin yoga, because to me, it's really, really meditative. You're holding poses. Oh, I'm so tight over here. You're holding poses for a good amount of time, so it really gives you the opportunity to settle and relax the tension. And through learning the internal concepts of Wing Chun, that becomes such an important thing of just relaxing into tension, and it translates. Any of these things that you do for your body translates to how you train your mind too, because kind of get used to being uncomfortable, and it becomes more bearable, and it builds the mental fortitude to really get through your day outside of the martial arts. All right. So you can also come back here, really engage, and I like to get my low back engaged as well. I just gently, don't overdo it ever, just moving. So another thing, if you sit down all day, or work on a computer and stuff, you'll notice that your shoulders are pretty tense, and maybe you suffer from some headaches that are due to tension. And so, it's funny. My teachers in this style and my chiropractor and my massage therapist all say the same thing, especially in the morning. I've had some back issues due to car accidents. One of the things you can do is when you first wake up or feel any tension when you're sitting down, to kind of bring the shoulder blades back, so you're touching your shoulder blades, and then kind of down. So here. And then you can roll and bring it around here. And really kind of bow your back just a little bit, and it starts to really, you feel your muscles. Because so much of us, many of us, we just kind of get out of touch with our body. And so you find people involved in sports or martial arts or whatever have the mind-body connection where they're in tune with their body. So that's one added benefit of doing any sort of movement. So in the sets, the Selam Dao, which translates to a little idea or no idea. Really, you see this movement a lot here, and we kind of talked about it yesterday, where it's really, you're working on the tendons and the ligaments and the soft tissue of everything in here. So you hear a lot of people call it tendon power, but my massage therapist says, well, it's more accurate with soft tissue elongation. So you're elongating and contracting, expansion and contraction, right? So one of the things you can do to help you, and this is from one of my friends and fellow teachers, Derek, he really has people, just come back here, work on elongating. And so you see this shoulder joint already right here. So you reach out as far as you think you can, and then you're like, well, maybe I can go another inch. And you really start loosening up here. So you don't want to be leaning this direction. You want to be upright and just allowing the shoulder joints to come out here. All right. Then you can also bring them back here. So just doing this a little bit will just help elongate everything. You'll get more of a reach. So one of the things you can also do is come here. And then once you're out here, just follow your pinkies down. All right, and you're going to feel it engage right along in here. And then up, and you can move them slowly. The idea is not to tense. So there'll be tension, but you're not like going to the point where you're shaking. You want to relax into that. So then you can come up. And honestly, this brings me a lot of relief in my wrist. I used to work for one of those giant corporations, and the medical charts were what kind of made me develop carpal tunnel. And it was funny. I went to employee health, and they're like, "Well, it must be the martial arts." It's like, no, this style. I've been doing this for nearly 18 years now, and Wing Chun has never hurt me through the practice. Other people have hurt me, but the medical charts hurt me the most because they're heavy and bulky, and they're grabbing them up there, and so they created some carpal tunnel. But doing this, allowing the tendon sheath to kind of relax along with the tendons not being so taut because I'm stretching them out, this really does help. So here I'm stretching out all this. So now we've stretched out kind of this area back here, a little bit of the pectoral. If you can go to a yoga class and really start talk to the instructor about like how do I loosen this stuff up. In Wing Chun, you don't really need that because we're not doing any sort of movements like that. Everything's over here, elbows. If you use it, some systems don't have it. Some do. But yeah, so be as loose as possible before you do the forms. So I have my meditation timer with the sound on this time. So we'll do it again, another 15-minute set. This time we have a Zen guitar. So I use Insight meditation timer for to time myself for when I'm doing, they don't have a Kung Fu, but they have Tai Chi, same difference. When it comes down to these slow movement sets. Because they do have the same yield. When you're doing the glacial style, you're still doing a lot of things that are really maintaining a lot of strength and strengthening all those fine motor muscles around every part of your body. So here we go. And we'll see if my structure improved now that I'm a little bit looser up. So once again, we're going to go bend the knees, tuck here, elongate my spine. And what that means is pretend that you're at the doctor's and they're taking your height and you're like, okay. Because I'm 5'5", but what if I could be 5'5.5"? Right? So if that's elongating the spine, when you drop down, you're not just bending your knees, you're releasing the hips too. So at this point, I'm going to make sure that I put the weight right where the arch and the ball of my foot meet. So other practitioners of Wing Chun will put it in the heels. I've never found any stability there. I always had to move out of the way when anybody pushed me because I had nowhere to go. So here, so you're also going to pretend like you're sitting down here. So if you've ever done kettlebells or squats, that's the kind of movement you're going to be doing, like the butt out. But we don't want to over exaggerate here and come out like that. That creates tension here. But you just want to bring it down a little bit. Okay, so straight back. And just settle into it. Don't bounce. We're going to come down with the devil gone south here. Oh, it's always so tight the first time I do this. I tell you, after a 2-hour class, this feels really good because everything's loose. I'm going to come up here with the devil tonsao. Notice these are pretty close to me. There's so many different variations. There we go. With this how people perform the Selam Dao. So we're doing the Longshan lineage here. So keep a look eye on my shoulders. You'll see them relax. So here, Sun character punch. Then we want horizontal. There we go. And don't snap. Just place. We want to be conflict free in our body. Around. Chambers. Remember what I said yesterday. Shoulder forward, elbow back. So then from here, there we go. That's better. So I also noticed in the video, I was doing that. You see that, how it's not a smooth, straight path. So we want to be careful because that's a blockage right here. We don't want that. So we want to have elbow down, heavy elbow, shoulder relaxed, this coming out this direction. So let's see if I can do that. There's an app out there called Coach's Eye or something, I think, and it enables you to kind of draw on the screen of your videos. So you can kind of really see the angles. I think I'm going to play around with that to kind of give me a visual reference of what I should be doing versus what I am doing. So I got to let that go because I'm holding on. I'm all up here. So I think I want to do this at least every couple of days at set times, so in order to have you guys be able to follow along with me. If you have like you can do like 3 o'clock 15-minute kung fu or something like that. We'll work it out. I'll take a vote on the Facebook page. So one of the things you want to work on is always moving. You want to keep your mind in your palm The easiest way to do that is slow, continual movement. The moment you stop moving your hand, the mind's able to wander, because it takes some concentration to really come back. And just use whatever you need to hold your body up and perform the movements. Drop the energy down. There we go. So yesterday we used the lever analogy. So here, I'm going to expand out. Expand. So ideally you would like to have your elbow here and everything on the center line. Kind of one of those do as I say, not as I do type of thing. Follow the fingers. So you'll see me adjusting. I do that when I feel tension. I feel like I'm up here. This is 2. And down. Forward. I'm going to let this go. Boom. I'm going to assist here to help me stretch. Tell you what, I should probably be doing this after I do about an hour of practice. You know, my suggestion to you is record yourself. You know, it can be nerve-wracking putting this live like I am doing, but haters can be haters. I don't care. I don't care what people have to say, because this is my personal practice. I've been doing this since just before 2000, and to me it's a very special thing. It's not just about there's the last one. Like when I tell people, oh, I teach Kung Fu and I've been practicing for some time. It's interesting because you find the mindsets of people immediately. A lot of people immediately go to, oh, I bet you can really beat me up, and I find that so interesting. It's like, no, that's not at all why I do this. You know, for one, you should be thinking, oh, you're my friend. I bet you can really help me out. You know, and that's the thing where any experienced martial artist, you know, like street defense is one thing. That's fairly easy to learn, but what I'm interested in, what I find that my students are interested in, once I show them how capable they are, because each and every one of us is capable of protecting ourselves. But the main switch is here. Because I can practice forms and punch things and block and set up scenarios, you know, say, okay, now you got to punch me here, you got to grab me here, and so I can do that all day long. But if my mind isn't mentally tough and I'm not prepared to use this stuff, you can do all the training in the world and just have it won't serve you. So here we go. Let's redo that. Thinking ahead. Bring that down. See that? There. That feels better. Give in to the tension. Don't fight it. The benefit of doing longer sets is that you really don't have a choice. you can't hold that up for 45 minutes. It just simply doesn't happen. I would have never thought that I would prefer to do long sets over quick sit them down. I mean, when I first started practicing, me and our group would see how fast we could do the form. And it looked, people like, oh wow, that looks really good. It was really snappy. But in hindsight, slow it down there. You don't really train the muscles correctly if you only use the fast twitch. You only get power at 2 points or 1 point. When you have to do this, it takes a lot more control. There we go. So I'm interested in two things for my students and myself. That is getting in touch with my body and getting in touch with my mind, and then getting those two things to kind of cooperate together. I was talking with a good friend yesterday in my office, and I said to him, oh, sometimes my body just is in control of my mind, and I'm trying to get it to go to the other direction where my mind controls my body. And he very quickly pointed out that what's the difference? The body has intelligence, so does the mind. I was like, oh crap. I was like, so you're saying I'm switching from one end to the other, expecting things to be different? He's like, pretty much. Once you get the mind asking the body what to do and allowing the body to do what it does, things get a little bit easier. And this guy knows what he's talking about. And I was just like, that makes sense. So today I get to practice that, because it switched something here. So I was like, oh, I got to incorporate and unify versus just control. And that speaks to something in Wing Chun, because we don't really control the opponent. We don't fight them. We just let them do what they're going to do, and they beat themselves. And what does that mean? It sounds so esoteric, but really, we're just containing the opponent's power. And containment's not necessarily controlling it, Containing is just putting it somewhere else. And that might sound like control, but you'll have to come check out one of the classes. And it's one of those, you gotta feel it, you gotta see it to believe it type of thing. So this whole month we're doing, if anybody comes in, you get the month free if you sign up with us. So we don't do contracts, we don't do belts, we don't have testing fees, we don't have tests. We just get together and practice some good Kung Fu. See here, I want to be here. I lost count a while ago, I've just been yapping. But I think this is 3. Come back. Place a hit, not smack. Here, place. Anybody can snap. It's hard to control. Visualization. Around, compress, slap the floor with my hands. Block shop out, and down here. Few sows. Back down. Double Fuchs out, resting hand, and chain. So here, center, place, around, center, place, around. There we go. Hands out, and the key, place. Now this will give my teachers a chance to critique what I'm doing as well. I'll be like, oh, it's all wrong. And that's okay. in life, we learn much more from the mistakes because you notice those and the things that you do perfect. Wrong cell. Come down. That's right. Here. Down. 2, 3, 4. And then I'll do some relaxed chain punches. Now I'll bring them even more horizontal. There it is. So what you do, because that brings a lot of, you'll feel it in the knees, and that's good. You can always just shake out the knees, roll them out like this. Go one direction. Go the other direction. Move around. The best thing you can do is just kind of walk around. You don't need a lot of space to do Wing Chun. My office is fairly small, but it's perfect for training one-on-one. So here, I'm actually kind of loose. Now I should be doing sealing down. I finally feel not as tight when I do this. So we'll see. So feel free to ask any questions by typing in on this video or message us if you've got any questions. So we have 4 classes a week on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sundays. And so please, everyone take care of yourselves.